So like 25 years? Do you want to change that?
25 years ago is when I got my first tattoo.
Okay. So maybe I'll just... You've been featured in Sullen Art Collective, Inked Magazine, many others. You've traveled worldwide. Your style is colorful realism. Right?
Color realism.
Color realism.
Drop the full.
Yeah. Sometimes they get a little too poetic. And then we'll try to talk at one point about your Wipe Outz brand.
Cool. It'd be cool to talk about the shop.
Absolutely. I have questions about the shop. Who's in your shop? How do you start the shop? Challenges you had starting the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to have a free form? If we go longer, I can give you opportunity to just talk about anything you want to talk about too, or is there anything you want me to bring up?
I think this will be enough, and then if there's something I want to talk about, I could just go off of one of those questions.
Okay, you're welcome to take over.
I mean, let's just roll.
And then I was gonna maybe talk about I think you mentioned in one interview that your family's in construction.
Mm-hmm.
My family is too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we could talk about that if you want.
Yeah, I used to do construction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. My brothers are still in it now. I even asked them today. I was like, "What local are you with?"
Yeah, construction comes out when people say, "How did you get into tattooing?" I have to go down the construction story, because that's what I was doing when I learned how to tattoo.
What's the matter?
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought that was.
We're talking about getting our own thing. Yeah.
Oh, those. They're like the Bonnie and Clyde of the semester.
Okay, that's all good.
They're ride or die. They're gonna. Okay, guys. Whenever you're ready, I think this is. Yeah. What's your time limit, dude? What do you want to head out like by?
I don't know. Maybe more than like 45 minutes.
Okay. So.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I'll turn on the lights at 20 so you know that you're in.
Okay. All right. Whenever you want to roll.
All right, I'll count you in. You know the rules, right? Like no cursing, the fist length away from the mic.
Okay.
We're going to turn off the lights back here, I think. It's going to be a loud noise. I don't know how loud it is anymore, but...
Okay.
And then I'll count you in.
Is it so loud that we should take our headphones off?
I usually do, but the last few times it wasn't that bad. I don't know why it's so loud. Oh, that was good. That's fine.
Does it?
Hello and welcome to An Ink We Trust Tattoo and Art Culture in San Fernando Valley, bringing you the latest of who's making a mark in the tattoo scene. I'm your host, Anthony Sanchez. Today we're going to talk to a guest from MD Tattoo in Northridge. We have tattoo artist Mike DeVries. Thank you for coming by the show.
Thanks for having me.
Mike started he got his first tattoo when he was 16. He practiced tattoo out of his own garage, if I got that right. And he's been featured in many magazines and articles, Sullen Art Collective, Inked Magazine. And he has his own tattoo shop, which is named after yourself. Sorry. Yeah. And he's got his great product, Wipe Outz, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So, Mike, how was I think you've been traveling all over. What was the last gig you've been up to?
Oh, I just got back from a trip to the United Kingdom and Germany. The first stop was the Kaos Theory project, which was a collaborative effort of 17 artists working on 6 clients over 3 days. It was insane. It was chaos. And then when that was done, I flew to Germany, did a collaboration with, I think, is the world's best black and gray tattoo artist, hands down, period. Ralph Nonweiler. He's incredible. I was able to do a collaboration with him.
Okay.
Which was unbelievable. And then I flew to another part of Germany for business, Wipe Outz business, and then just got back actually a few days ago.
Do you think that helps you seeing all these tattoo artists worldwide?
Oh yeah, man, the styles in each country. I could almost see a tattoo and be like, oh, that's from France, or that's an Australian tattoo. Yeah, the styles are, I mean, everybody's getting so good nowadays. It's insane. Like,
yeah. It feels like, because everyone's able to see each other's work, they're kind of like one-upping, not one-upping in a bad way, but, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, back in the day, it was like, if you wanted to see tattoos, you got to go to, Tower Records, or, the record store, and get a magazine. You know? And even back in the day, that was what I had to do, was I sent my photos into magazines, and that was pre-MySpace, you know. And then so it's social media, you know. It's that constant. Every single time you go on there, you're inspired because you're just following people around the world. And there's so many good artists now that every time you go on your phone, you're seeing something unbelievable. And it makes everybody step up their game. So every single day, the tattoo industry is stepping up their game. It's crazy.
Right. Just looking at a hashtag tattoo is just immense.
Yeah. And yeah, it's crazy.
So I wanted to talk a little bit. You're here from the Valley. You grew up in Canoga Park and Encino area. But your roots are, you used to work construction, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I worked construction with my dad, actually throughout, probably a couple times throughout middle school, you know, summer, break. I was going to say vacation. There ain't no vacation. Son, come to work, boy. And then right after I graduated high school, it was just, you know, into construction. That's what I thought I was going to do forever. I did it for about 5 years. And I got pretty good at it, like, you know, but I was around 23 years old, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, you know, I'm going to learn how to tattoo. And because I met a guy that actually worked at his place, and although I did start in my garage, I do not encourage that to any listeners out there.
Right.
That's just not the proper way. You need to get a apprenticeship. Although, you know, obviously it worked out for me, but in most cases it might not work out so good. So,
right.
Yeah, you got to learn the right way from the beginning. That's very important. That's
a good thing to point out. Also, I think I saw that do you collect vintage cars, or it's just a hobby?
No, oh, shit. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, we're gonna
keep going.
That out. Okay.
It's like...
Sorry, that might not be the only time. I do not collect vintage cars, but I have one that is a money pit, but it's a lot of fun. I love it. It was my, like, dream truck, you know, and yeah.
Cool. So what was the tattoo scene like when you were 16? You were around a lot of stuff. What would you say?
What? At that time, the tattoo scene?
Yeah, what was going on? What do you remember that's probably different now?
Well, I was getting tattooed in a school bus.
Oh.
Or in a trailer.
Okay.
For real. I remember having a party at my parents' house when they went out of town, and I got grounded for that one. I had a tattoo party. This guy, his name's Rusty. He was a local guy around here that just tattooed anybody underage. He didn't care, you know. So I had a bunch of tattoos by the time I was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, visible areas going to high school, and I was just all about it. That's what really turned it around for me, you know, as far as that goes. But well.
Yeah. What was the reaction when you got your first tattoo then?
You know what was
you're underage, you know.
Yeah, so back to that, like, so yeah, like the whole scene though, man, it was just different back then, you know. It was just the entire business and everything was just ran a little bit different. It's opened up a lot nowadays. You know, there's a lot more shops nowadays, which I know that there's a lot of tattoo artists, you know, out there that aren't happy about that, but, you know, it's just like with anything. Look there's 4 gas stations on every corner, you know.
Right.
It is what it is, you know. You can't keep, as much as they wanted to keep this, you know, industry or community sacred, you know, it still is in a lot of regards, but it isn't, you know, in a lot of regards as well. And they're going to have to get used to it.
I know, you know, my tattoo artist, and I think I saw an interview with one of your on Solon TV or something, that, you know, then you have people coming in internationally. So I have a feeling that's probably something that's a little different, that, like, other than being in a magazine back when we were talking about the 90s or maybe up to the 2000s. I don't know. MySpace started like in the 2000s, but
yeah, the boom started after that. I remember, because I specifically remember when there was no name tattoo artist. Like in Australia, I couldn't tell you. I remember there was one good guy in Spain, you know, and at that time there was maybe 3 artists that I knew that had a website, you know, which was interesting. But yeah, the scene has completely changed. It's so different. It's like night and day.
Do you feel like there's been one really good improvement in the industry that you've seen since then?
Improvements?
Yeah. Technology-wise, maybe? Or colors?
Oh, as far as like the tattoo process
Yeah.
in itself?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Rotary, I think, was a big game changer, although there's still a lot of guys that use, traditional coil machines. And that works for them. But rotaries, they're just different. And I think a lot of people started using those because they're so consistent and runs the same way every time. Coil machine could be all over the place, but you have to be like a mechanic. And a lot of these newcomers in the scene, they don't want to have to learn how to deal with a funky machine. It's just give me the machine that runs right the same way every single day. That works for everything.
What did you, in that jump between, working in your garage and then getting into a shop, what was the big, thing that helped you with having an apprenticeship?
Well, my apprenticeship was different. I wouldn't have done the whole, in the garage, or, private studio.
Studio.
That's a better way to put it rather than the word garage is kind of like a bad word,
okay,
if you will.
I'm learning all this.
Yeah, it is. I would not go, on TV and be like, hey guys, yeah, do exactly what I did and work in your garage, I almost don't even want to say it.
Okay.
But it's okay. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's my background. I can't go back and change it. Although I don't know if I would or not.
Interesting.
But yeah, so let's just call it a private studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even a private studio is a bad idea when you're first starting. Although, like I said, it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to work for everybody because you need help. So during my apprenticeship was kind of hands-on, hands-off. I had to drive 30 minutes to my mentor's house,
okay,
his private studio,
uh-huh,
in order to get some education, and that was Jim Hayek,
okay.
and I owe him a lot. He changed my life.
Do you remember that moment where you were like, I thought I was doing this right the whole time, and he kind of
No. Well, okay, so my apprenticeship was like this.
Okay.
It was pretty much a 30-day blitz. Let me here's how to make needles, here's how to do this, okay, here's, don't cross-contaminate, here's how you sterilize things, blah, 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 a couple little other things, stretch, a few things, okay, go. And then I was like, okay. I did my first tattoo in his private studio.
Uh-huh.
Maybe my first 1 or 2 tattoos were there under his supervision. And then, with my construction background, I built my own private studio.
Oh, I see.
And then, that's when I went to visit Jim every now and then just to be like, hey, how do you do this? Or I remember taking him magazines and being like, dude, how the heck is Tom Renshaw pulling off this hair? That's when you had to pull a magazine and bring a magazine to somebody and say, how is this guy doing that? And I specifically remember, this is 17 years ago. He's like, oh man, let me show you this guy's work. And that's when he showed me somebody's, his name was Robert Hernandez. He still tattoos, he's incredible. But he was one of those guys that everybody should know about because he helped change the game to realism. Because, not that realism, there's a lot of guys that are like, when is realism going to go away? Because I'm sick of it. But it ain't going nowhere. So
right.
You guys get used to it.
Yeah. There's so many different styles. I think sometimes in any art genre, if you will, people don't want to be labeled. But I know Owen, who's from your shop, likes the idea of being in a niche.
Sure.
It's like you just improve on things. Is that something that you think about?
Well, there's different types of tattooers, and it all comes down to drive. Who's got the most drive, because if you just sit there and just be like, I'm just going to wait for somebody to walk through the door, you're probably not going to be that successful. But somebody that's super hungry, that's, eager, and that is just has that drive to send pictures to magazines, to reach out to, different, just there's so many different ways to market and promote yourself that, but some of those guys that just sit back and just wait for the person to walk through the door, hey, hey, do you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's cool.
Yeah.
If that's what you choose. If you want to do flash, or if you want to do this, or if you just draw traditional stuff, or I have all styles tattooed on me. I love all the styles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to knock any styles. I'm just saying realism is here to stay.
Yeah.
But,
are you done getting any tattoos yourself? Or is it anything
I'm almost fully covered.
There you go.
Like
okay.
3 times over.
Oh, okay.
I have about 800 hours of tattooing on me.
Wow.
By
Crazy.
about 40 to 45 different artists.
Okay, cool. So how has your tattoo style evolved? Because you're now doing kind of between color and realism. So what challenges have you had to get into that style?
To go from just to go into realism?
To just kind of, you obviously just, or I assume you just tattooed like whatever you saw, flash art, and then eventually you started moving into realism, I imagine.
It happened quick.
Did it?
And that's what put me on the map so quick. A lot of it could have been, just timing, but I think, but it can't all just be timing. It was my drive, and me just, working in my private studio by myself and nobody knows about me. That's not what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, but I found my niche like very quickly. Like within a year of tattooing, I had my first international magazine feature.
Mm-hmm.
Within a year, it was International Tattoo Magazine. And I was on the cover and everything. It said "The Young Gun," Mike DeVries. And then my next one was Encino Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I just hit it hard. Everything. But I don't know. I think I'm veering off the question now, but
not at all. No, because I wanted to bring up something we were talking about earlier about like successful tattoo artists, or I mean, it's kind of one of those things. As I get older, like it's really hard in marketing. People will be like, he's the most successful, but I mean, how do you really define that? Because everyone's gonna, like you said earlier, everyone's doing their thing differently. So,
yeah, that's it. Say that one more time.
Well, like at what point are you a famous tattoo artist? And not you, but like other people. How do you define it?
Well, if walking through the mall,
mm-hmm.
It's all about walking through the mall. That's how you could distinguish a lot of things. Like, for example, if you really like a girl a lot, would you walk through the mall holding her hand? Yes or no? It's the same thing. So, like, the mall, I use the mall a lot. Like, if you walk through the mall and nobody bothers you, you're not famous. I could walk through the mall and nobody bothers me. I think locally, though, where I live, I think people probably,
mm-hmm.
I think that might be but I've tattooed so many freaking people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think there's fame just within that, but I don't think I'm famous because real true fame is walking through the mall and getting bothered. Hey, could I take a picture with you? Hey, sorry to bother you. That's fame.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, maybe I go to a tattoo convention and that's when people might want to take a picture with me. Just, I guess, for what I've done for them. I did wrote some educational books and made some DVDs like way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of artists are thankful for me for doing that, and that's why they like me.
Why did you decide to create these instructional DVDs?
I like to help and I like to teach people. And I felt like I had something to offer.
You've also done some books that you've like coloring books. So how did those come about?
Well, it all came about from my first book that was self-published, and then I was like, I tried to find a publisher, and I couldn't do it. So then I just self-published it. But then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a publishing company. So since I couldn't get a hold of one, I just created my own. So that's how Memento Publishing was born. And then I came out. I've published about a dozen books.
Cool. What's going back to your tattooing? I saw that you, with your realism stuff, you either have kind of portraits or then you also have animals. So what's your affinity to working on animals?
Well, portraits and animals is what I guess my claim to whatever type of fame you want to talk about. Back on the fame. So like
sure.
when I'm at like a tattoo convention though, did I say that? Like when I'm at a tattoo convention, that's where
Yeah.
So that's a whole different animal, because within that world, but then again, some people look at whoever has the most Instagram followers is the most famous.
Right.
That is so not true.
Oh yeah, I follow some Reddits that talk about people in different industries, and it's like they have such and such. There was somebody recently in the news for some scandal and like lost 1 million followers, and that's I guess that's a mark of things. I don't know.
What happened with that? I heard that. Tell me after.
Oh yeah,
if you want. Or
I don't know. It's not. It's in the news. I don't know too much about it. Somebody in makeup industry. This gay guy. He was preying on straight guys, tricking them into hooking up with him or something like that.
Oh,
and
it doesn't have anything to do with tattooing?
not tattooing. It's a whole other industry.
Oh, okay.
But lost 1 million followers because it kind of everybody. So basically, he's losing his brand, if you will. But he makes $16 million a year or something. So I don't know
He'll
how
be
much.
fine.
Yeah, right.
He'll be fine.
And he's 19.
Oh wow, yeah, he's fine.
So, but but people are upset about the followers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
following,
Losing the followers.
But it does mean something. On the flip side, it does mean something because whoever has more followers, this goes back to like maybe some artists don't think about this, but it's a real thing, and I think it's a real thing across many different businesses. And whoever has the most followers is the person I want to come to my... Let's say I was throwing a convention, a tattoo convention. I'm going to pick the people that have a big following because they're going to share it.
Right. I mean, that's what happened with the Fry Festival. I don't know if you know, or Fire. I think it's called Fire.
Well,
I don't know if you heard about that.
It just said it right there.
Mhm.
Like they're hitting them up because the following, not because of who they are or the fame.
Right.
It's solely the following.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not in all cases,
Mhm.
because some guys that have the following could back it up.
For sure.
There's something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even since I've started this, every now and then you get where you could buy followers. So it's kind of like you can't really trust the number,
Well, you can because you could tell when unless they're buying the likes too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you have 1 million followers and you post something and you get, 1,000 likes, there's something wrong.
Yeah, even with my purview with this, it's like I'm just covering the San Fernando Valley, so I feel like if I had too many followers, it wouldn't look like there's not really that many, within the vicinity, if you will, as a local college radio station.
Well, also, I don't think it's... Gosh, people look at this and I think I actually feel bad for the next generation coming in. I have a son. He's 19 and he's already an amazing tattoo artist, Kyle. It's just different.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about that for like days.
Yeah, my nephew's going to be 18 in a month, and yeah, it's like he has a band and his following and stuff like that. So it's kind of a thing. I think we were talking about that earlier. It's like you got to have the podcast, the Instagram, the website, the YouTube, and then you still got to do your work, right?
Yeah.
So what's the best part for your work about attending conventions? Because you seem like you hit a lot of them.
Well, there's pros and cons to it, and I took a break from conventions for a few years, where now I'm hitting it again. Yeah, there's different reasons. Like when I first hit the convention scene hard, it was just to get my name out there. But now that my name's out there, maybe it is to keep my head. Somebody did tell me this. You got to poke your head out of the hole sometimes, and be like, hey guys, I'm still here. You know what I mean? Because posting on Instagram isn't good enough. Not doing one thing is not good enough. Being a YouTuber, it's not good. Well, I mean, unless you're, you strike it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're opening toys and you just hit it. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's like the ASMR and the reaction, the reaction to trailers. Like, I'm like, I don't watch that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, sure, there could be a quick claim to fame with anything. Like, it's just like buying a lottery ticket, setting up a YouTube account and being like, okay, I'm going to make millions of dollars. Who knows, but maybe, but with the tattoo artist, you have to just utilize all channels. You have to go to conventions. You have to read, you have to look in the magazines. Maybe send your photos to magazines. You have to have your Instagram. You have to have a Facebook. You have to have this. There's a lot you have to have, and do, because if you don't do all of them, if you're only on Facebook, well, then you're missing out on a whole world on Instagram.
Right.
Although maybe I should practice what I preach, because one of the things that I don't do is Snapchat. Is that even
I don't see a lot of tattoo artists on Snapchat personally.
They're
and even
on
doing
there.
this.
They're on there, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I personally couldn't tell you. I hardly use it, and I see a lot of like fitness people or a lot of beauty people use it. So I think I don't know if the platform, other than maybe getting live videos of you doing a tattoo every now and then.
Right. Yeah.
but the content on there is kind of wonky. I mostly see people post things on the weekend when they're going partying.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that too, back on what I was just saying about Instagram, like, if you're just an Instagrammer, like, if you're like, I don't need a website, I don't need a Facebook, you know, I don't need to do that. You know, Instagram is where everybody is. Well, you know what? Like, not everybody's seeing your pictures.
Right.
Because of the algorithm.
Right. That's true, too.
So that's why you gotta, like, put it everywhere.
They had at a Facebook tech convention that they were going to possibly remove the likes. And I was like,
Really?
no one's going to go onto Instagram or Facebook anymore.
I've always said Snapchat will be successful as soon as you could like and follow, because you can't gauge how big somebody is, so you can't gauge on where to advertise, or you can't gauge. It's just like nobody's going on Snapchat and be like, yeah, can you come to my convention because you Snapchat?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's also like being a little older and seeing how all these things change and come and go, right? Because now I heard that TikTok's going to be a thing, and I don't even know.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, I was like,
that could be the next big thing.
That could, and then
TikTok.
Everyone's going to leave Instagram and go on to the next thing and start. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
didn't we think that was going to happen with what, Vero, and then there was another app.
Vine.
Or Vine was the first, and then I think there was two other ones. Backspaces.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, there was Friendster before MySpace. Never going through it.
Well,
that was way back.
That, and then Vine, and then there was another one that was like 3D kind of animation.
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
That one was pretty cool. But I don't know. That's what everybody says.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that everybody's going to leave Instagram and stuff is once somebody builds something actually truly better.
Right.
You know?
Or it might be because things are so cyclical, people just kind of don't want to be on social media at all, you know?
Well, let me take that back. It's when Instagram truly messes up. You know, when they almost lost everybody because they were like, oh, these are my pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when they said, oh, we own them? Oh,
right.
yeah. And that's when everybody started to leave and go on, I think it was like Spaces or Backspaces.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty rotten for them to even think that. I don't care who hears that.
Yeah.
To think that they own the. In fact, I just heard Ariana Grande is getting sued because she used a picture of herself that another photographer made for her. So he owns the rights to the photography of her. She doesn't own it, so she has to pay him. Anyways, I try to pay attention to all the news. So, let's see. So, what has been one of the challenges when you're doing tattoo work abroad?
The challenge?
Like, you got to probably chuck your gear around or plan stuff to get over there.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's probably the biggest. Getting through customs, that could be a challenge. There's a few places in the world that are really difficult to get into. So you gotta get like a work visa and all that stuff. You know, just do it right, do it proper, and then you don't have to worry. But still, traveling with gear, you know, gets heavy. You know. That's when an apprentice would be nice.
What was the critical decision for you to start your own shop?
My own shop?
Mm-hmm. The one here in Northridge.
Well, what happened? So if I went back, I think I was only tattooing for maybe 3 years, and then I met somebody. No, between year 2 and year 3, I met a guy named Mike DeMasi. That was a really good tattoo artist. Like, I remember seeing one of his tattoos on the cover of a tattoo magazine, and I met him. I met Mike at a local tattoo convention, and we just hit it off. Like, we just became best friends. You know what I mean? And we traveled everywhere together, and we just fed off of each other and this and that, and we just killed it out there. And then he got me to go out and move my family to work at his shop out in Victorville.
Okay.
So I had to talk my wife into moving to the desert where there's nothing and saying, just trust me, you know. And she did. She went out there, and it was cool working with Mike. So the plan out there was to go out there for a year and a half, and then to open up another shop closer back where I grew up, you know, here or maybe in between, maybe somewhere in Pasadena. When the time came, they said that they weren't ready, so I said, okay, peace out, you know, for lack of better words. And then I came back to the valley, and I found a spot, and I opened up shop. And that was 11 years ago.
What was the biggest challenge when you started your own shop?
You know, it's just like with any business, it's just doing it. It's just completing the circle, you know. It's like going down to the place and getting the business license, and then going and getting the tax ID number, and then doing this, and you got to open the bank, and there's just a lot of legwork. And then once you get into it, then you realize, oh dang, there's a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot of this, and in all of the 11 years, I have not hired a manager. A shop manager. I've done it all. Like, I wear all the hats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like, you ever seen I Love Lucy, where she's like the sheriff, and then she puts on the other hat, and she puts on the other hat. Like,
right.
Literally, I take out the trash, I straighten up. But I mean, we do have a lady that cleans up once a week, but you know what I mean. Like, I just try and just handle it.
I've heard that you have a lot of artists come through in your own shop. So you mentioned earlier that you like teaching people. So is that a big and important thing about running your shop, about developing artists?
Well, it's funny that we talked about teaching, and then teaching and then artists in the same sentence, and my tattoo shop. It's interesting because a lot of people look at my shop as like a training ground, because I've had a lot of really good, very successful tattoo artists that are current, like huge. Like, I'll just say a few. Josh Duffy, that guy is incredible. If anybody listening doesn't know who that is, look at his work. He's incredible. And I hired him because he did a cool little black and gray frog tattoo that I was like, oh, that's a cool frog. And then now he's incredible. He's world renowned. Phil Garcia, he's incredible. Definitely check him out. And then there's a few others too, you know, that still, you know, maybe they're not as big as those two that I mentioned, but I've had other people say, hey, is that MD Tattoo Studio over there? That you should change the name to MD Tattoo University, you know, because I guess what I do is, like, when they're there, they just become really good, you know, and then it runs its course and they got to go, or, you know, they want to open their own shop or this or that, which is fine, you know, but it just seems like that's just the way it is. So, but yeah, I mean, so I've had a lot of artists that are, you know, kind of nobodies. I'll just say it, you know, they're nobody. Sorry, Josh. I mean, it's just the truth. You know, and then I've had other artists come in, you know, from around the world, just guest spotting. And, you know, Owen, we have Owen now. He was already, you know, really good. So it's really cool to have him on board at the shop. And then we have a few other guys there that are really good. And then my son, that's 19, killing it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got kind of reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger. One of his sons training finally. Yeah. And they had the exact same genetics. And so you're just like, that's got to be the coolest. So I'm sure your son's probably stoked to, you know, have that opportunity. We mentioned Kyle and Owen. Give me a rundown of who's currently in your shop, just maybe a brief for people listening if they want to come by. Yeah,
there's Owen, and yeah, he's really good. And then my kid, Kyle DeVries, Matt Hildenbrand, he's a newer artist from up north, and he's really good. He could do anything, you know, black and gray color, lettering, you name it, he could do it. And then we have another really good artist. His name is Bookie. Let me see, is that it? Me, Bookie, Matt, Kyle, Owen. Yeah, that's it right now. I'm actually looking for somebody. All right. Well, if anyone's listening, let's go ahead and talk about your brand, your Wipe Outz. What is it? I kind of know, but I'd rather have you kind of give your spiel. Well, okay. So I've been tattooing for 17 years now, and throughout that time, I've noticed a lot of areas of improvement all the way back to about 11 years ago. And one of the reasons why I moved to Victorville, other than working with Mike DeMasi, was to work with a gentleman named Mario Rosenow. And we started probably the first tattoo product for tattoo artists that now all tattoo artists want to make a product. Everybody, they all do. But Mario Rosenow and I, we were the first ones at conventions with a bottle of something for sale on our booth. And now it's sold in over 150 countries, But I kind of stepped away from that for a minute to start Wipe Outz, which So that product with Mario Rose now was just a better, safer way to transfer tattoo stencils. Is basically what it was. It's a product named Stencil Stuff. It's incredible to see where it is nowadays, and to be able to say that I was a co-founder, you know, and that is just growing massively. You know, every day Stencil Stuff gets bigger and bigger. But I wanted to do more, so I looked at paper towels. Like, wait, hold on. Kitchen towels. We use kitchen towels to tattoo with.
To blot up the blood, right?
Yeah, but they're kitchen towels.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and they're made in an, you know, I don't want to scare everybody, you know, but there's a lot of things that there's pros and cons, and there's a lot of cons. So I decided to make sterilized tattoo towels, packaged, soft but super strong. Even the clients can tell the difference. Like, they're so much better than paper that clients are telling the difference, and they're almost demanding them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the way that the tattoo scene is right now is that people are doing, you know, these collaborations, like I talked about earlier, the Kaos Theory that happened in the UK. This stuff happens every weekend. There's a tattoo convention, and at every convention, people are going for best of show, and they're doing like triathlon, you know, mega sessions. And so I was starting to go off there.
About Wipe Outz and clients like it, and you're seeing it. You know, there's a need for it in shops.
Yeah, so big need for anybody that does long sessions, because the clients feel a huge difference. Like, you have tattoos, like,
right.
You know, one of the things that people always complain about is that dang wipe. Oh, it hurt. Oh, that wipe. Oh, my God. Because you're just wiping like an open wound and wiping and wiping. And a kitchen paper towel is abrasive,
mm-hmm.
you know, and so these are just better just across the board, and they're sterilized,
mm-hmm.
you know, and they don't clog your needles. For tattoo artists, that's huge, because they're not made out of paper. So when you're tattooing with regular paper towels, there's lint and residue. Like, there's no lint, no residue with Wipe Outz when you use them, and people love that. That's just all around. It's just really, really good, and I hope it. Well, it is taking off. I was gonna say I hope it. You know,
mm-hmm.
that people, you know. There are a lot. Like, the team that I've created actually already, it's incredible.
So people listening, that this is something that, like, you can order online.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the other thing, another line extension on for Wipe Outz, it's not just dry tattoo towels that are, you know, sterilized and for tattoo artists, but we have single cleansing wipes for customers and clients that just got a fresh tattoo. Like, how do you care for it? Well, number one, any aftercare instruction sheet? I don't care. Google it. Like, first things first. Wash your tattoo.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. How? Well, I have made I believe it is the world's first convenient, effective cleansing wipe that's perfect for on-the-go tattoo care. No mess, no nothing. It's, you know, it's just, and yeah, it's.
And then for shops, if they want to know, do you guys sell it in bulk if they want to carry it in shops?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a program for shop owners that they could carry it, earn extra revenue, and also one thing that's super cool is it ensures that their tattoo is going to be cared for properly.
Right.
Less touch-ups.
The longevity of it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, let's see. What else do we want to get onto? Was there anything you wanted to cover we didn't get to?
I think we covered some ground.
I think so too. I guess it can kind of come down to where do you see your shop in 5 years, or yourself? You seem very goal oriented. Maybe we should say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. How far ahead are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking I got my entire life planned out. You know, if I make it that long, who knows? But it's better to be planned out, you know, rather than like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to that, so I'm not going to, you know, plan out for that. You know, I don't know what I'm going to be doing in my 60s or 70s, because my goals change. It's so hard for me to tell you a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, like, specifically, because next week something might happen to where it's like, oh, I'm going down that road, You know what I mean? But I also, and I don't know if this comes down to the way that I am, but I was born and raised like to play chess. I love chess. I even have chess pieces tattooed on me. And, so I like to plan ahead and think, a few moves ahead. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But, I think, and I don't know if that's a problem. I think too much. But, I don't know. My probably my goals are actually, honestly, would be to probably cut it back, to get to work smarter, or work smarter, not harder. From all the tattooing, my body's it's taking a toll.
Right.
You can see like right now I'm like sitting up like so straight. It's because I have to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think my family's construction as well, right? My dad did construction. My brother Aaron works. He's working now. He actually stopped doing that, but he's doing Infinity Drywall. But he's working on the office side. Is what I'm trying to say. But it was a very hard work ethic. It was my dad was like, be there at 4 a.m. even though you have to be there at 5. Like even for me today, it was like be here at 10:30 even though you're going to be here at 11.
Yeah.
So do you think that's maybe part of it? That kind of like just go hard, go hard, go hard.
Yeah, yeah, yes. But I remember, going to Costco when I was, 10 years old and buying a whole thing of red vines for $5.25 and then going door to door selling them for 25 cents each. Or being bestseller at junior careers, going door to door selling candy. I don't know. I think my parents and my dad, really pushed just work. If you want to be anything, you got to freaking work. And that's, but here's my goal now. Now, if you want to talk about my 5 or 10, is actually to work less.
To work less? Yeah.
Make time for the family and this and that. And because I work so dang hard that is, at some point you got to like take a break and like look around,
Yeah, that's good to hear. You got a lot of things going on, so it's you're probably at a point where you can kind of just maintain it.
That's what I need. I need to put the infrastructure in place so it can be maintained, and that's what I'm working on right now. So that's like a short-term goal is to get that locked in.
Cool. And anything coming up recently that you're going to be doing? Anything you want to plug? Any conventions? Anything going on at the shop?
The shop. The shop is awesome. Just if anybody wants to get tattooed, just come to the shop. We're in Northridge, California, MD Tattoo Studio. I am putting on my first wellness seminar in Canada in August, I think it is, in London, Canada.
Okay.
It's a health and wellness seminar because I've been through so much, man. Like I wore wrist braces to bed for 2 years.
Wow.
Physical therapy, this and that. I had a bulge disc, arthritis, wear and tear between this and that, and that's, like I said, that's the reason I'm sitting up so straight is because I was bent over, tattooing for so many years that it just kind of kinked me up, knotted me up.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap up then. You guys can check out his shop. You guys can check out his wellness thing. He's got his books, his Wipe Outz product. Thanks again for coming by the show, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. We mentioned your show's in Northridge, and also where else can they find you online?
mdtattoos.com is my personal website, and then Wipe Outz, it's MD Wipe Outz with a Z.com to find the wipes, and mdtattoostudio.com, and then mementopublishing.com for the publishing company, tattoostuff.com for stencil stuff products, and
Yeah, and then his Instagram, Mike DeVries, and Instagram, MD Tattoo Studio. We'll have everything on kpcradio.com. Again, it's Mike from MD Tattoo in Northridge. For more info, like I said, kpcradio.com. Also, you can follow us on Instagram. And I want to thank you all for listening. I'm Anthony Sanchez. Have a good summer.